In this video, I'm going to walk through a direct materials budget as part of our master budget. If we're a manufacturer, we started with sales, that drove what we needed to produce. After a production budget, then we need to look at the three elements of manufacturing costs: direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. I'm going to focus on direct materials in this budget. For this scenario, we're going to be a perfume manufacturer, and the only material that we're going to focus on is the musk oil. And I want to note, for each bottle of this perfume, it requires 3 grams of musk oil. That's sort of a buried fact here. 3 grams of musk oil for each bottle of perfume. Ultimately, our budgeting is going to be for the year, and we're going to break down the year by each individual quarter. Not interested in months as part of the quarter, but we're going to break it down by each individual quarter. They already give us the budgeted production for each of those quarters in our second year, and also the budgeted production for the first quarter and the third year. Our starting point, I'm going to work with you through the first quarter, is going to be our required production that we're budgeting for the first quarter of 60,000. Now, why am I then multiplying it times 3? Because we're focused on the musk oil, and each bottle of perfume is expected to use 3 grams. So 3 times the 60,000 bottles of perfume budgeted in production for the first quarter means we expect that we need 180,000 grams of raw material to meet that production. Now, we'd stop there if we were just in time, and we expect 180,000 to arrive just in time for a production, but we also want to buffer a little bit of extra inventory on hand. One, in case our sales and production are higher than we expect, also to have some raw material on hand at the end of the period to start production the next quarter. They tell us it's a really popular ingredient, the musk oil, so we want to keep a fairly large inventory on hand also for stockouts. The inventory of musk oil at the end of any particular quarter needs to be equal to 20% of the next quarter's production needs. So we're going to look at the next quarter, which would be the second quarter of year 2, which is 90,000. Why are we multiplying it times 3? 90,000 times 3 because there's 3 grams of musk oil for each bottle. 90,000 times 3 times the 20% tells us we want an extra 54,000 grams of musk oil, again, at the end of the first quarter to help, again, stockouts and help have some inventory on hand going into the second quarter. 54,000 in ending raw material inventory plus 180,000 to satisfy our production needs for the first quarter means the total amount of material that we need in the first quarter is 234,000. Again, that could be the amount that we need to buy, but we also need to consider, do we already have some musk oil on hand? Yes, they do tell us that 36,000 grams of musk oil, assume that's going to be on hand to start us out with the first quarter. So if we have 36,000 grams on hand, subtract that from the 234,000 grams that we need, and that tells us we only need to buy 198,000 grams. Having 36,000 on hand, that will satisfy both our 180,000 that we need for production and our 54,000 on hand for ending inventory. So again, need to buy 198,000. Beyond the quantity that we need to buy, we're also going to look at dollar value. If we read back through here, they tell us each gram of musk oil is predicted to cost us $1.50. So if we need to buy 198,000 grams, and each one is predicted to cost us $1.50, 150 times 198,000, our expected spending is 297,000. Again, expected spending is 297,000. I'm going to let you work through the second, third, and fourth quarter on your own to make sure you know the process. Some things very similar to what I've done on past videos. Let me give you some hints and some check figures. Note that the ending inventory for the first quarter of 54,000 is going to become the beginning inventory for the second quarter. So again, ending inventory that we desire for the first quarter of $54,000 is the beginning inventory for the second quarter. So slid that over here. Also note, again, gave you some year-end forecasted totals, and very similar to our production budget, we can't add all of our columns across for every row. In particular, our desired ending inventory for the year is the ending inventory for the fourth quarter, because the fourth quarter is the last quarter. So I'll note, if you work that out, that's going to be $42,000. I don't have the calculation involved, but you can work that out as a check figure. Also note that the beginning inventory for the year is not the addition of all 4 quarters. It is going to be the $36,000 we had for the first quarter, because the first quarter is the first quarter for the year. So if we're predicted to have $36,000 in the first quarter as a beginning inventory, that would also be the beginning inventory of our year. So hopefully that gives you some hints to prepare your direct materials budget.